You've got it locked to New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Hi, I'm Kissy Springer, and you've got it tuned to HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk radio, broadcast always in HD.
That's right. Thank you, Kissy. You know that's true. HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. And tonight we proudly present a special edition Film 101, Aitken for the F55. That's right. We're going to go back there again and revisit the F55 because it's just so damned awesome, isn't it? Oh, you bet. And something else that's pretty awesome, too, is we've got a sit-down tonight with Colorado Cinematographer Brook Aitken for an in-depth face-to-face about the Sony CineAlta F55 and just how much of an all-around piece of digital perfection this camera really is. And, if you're into this at all, trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this show. We've got him. He's here tonight. And it's pretty awesome. Stay tuned as HTLA presents tonight's Film 101. Yes, there it is, the brand new theme right there for Film 101. You betcha. We thought, hey, maybe let's do a movie theme or something. Hey, but there you go. Nonetheless, there it is for your listening pleasure tonight. And tonight we got a great show for you. We've got, the first in a series of cinematographers we're bringing to Film 101, of course. Talking about their cameras, their gear, and indeed their careers, and how they got into it and where they're going with it. So, going to definitely have a good show tonight. But before we get into all that, I do have to remind you that, of course, this show is brought to you, as always, by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City. Now with 8 fine locations in the city to serve all your coffee and baked goods needs. Check them out. Tim Hortons, always fresh. And, of course, this is HTLA Studio 2, a PreSonus broadcast studio. The 24/4/2 Studio Live digital mixer we use here in the studio. It's just stellar. It really is. So if you are into anything to do with any kind of professional audio, which I know a lot of our listeners are, you want to check them out. Check them at presonus.com. There you go. So it's good to be here tonight. We got the one, the only Jenny McCartney in the booth, pushing the buttons, making the show go for you. Yes, we do. And I guess we'll just get right into it, shall we? Yeah. Now, for some of you who, maybe just getting into filmmaking, this show does kind of cater to a lot of those listeners as well as the professionals in the industry. Just try and bear with me, get through some of this stuff. I know a lot of you are using some of the more entry-level Blackmagics or indeed some DSLRs, and certainly there's nothing wrong with that. But tonight we're going to be talking about a camera that, it kind of took the industry by storm a couple of years back. And, man, I got to say, Sony and their CineAlta line is, they're not pulling any punches. Now, you got to remember, the cameras that we're talking about tonight include the Sony F3, the Sony F5, of course, the Sony F55, and the incredible F65. Yeah, that's the Sony family of CineAlta F-grade cameras. And first, the F3 and the F65 were introduced, and then, of course, they brought in the new F55 and F5 a couple of years back. And, when they revealed their cameras, expect to see the prototypes shooting on locations near you. When they came out, of course, there were, and they made quite an impression. In fact, they were tied to a lot of very high-end projects that any camera in that price category wasn't touching. It was, yeah, it was pretty nutty. But these cameras, the working cameras actually shipped in January of 2013. Some have called the F55 a companion to the F65. And indeed, you can certainly interact or intermingle shots from both cameras. And even the F5, an upgrade beyond the F3. Many call them Sony's first comfortably shoulder-resting modular compact 4K cameras. And since their release and ultimate foray into the work streams of many crews all over the world doing all kinds of different productions, be it, anything right down to low-budget television commercials and music videos, right up to feature films that you see in the theaters. The F55 is certainly proving itself. And it's not just my opinion, so I thought it would be good if I had some cinematographers come in and give us a sit-down and give us their impressions of the camera, which, of course, tonight we're doing with a man by the name of Brook Aitken. Now, you can check him out at brookaitken.com. That's BROOKAITKEN.com. And Brook's got quite the extensive career and resume to his list of credentials, everything from documentaries and whatnot for Discovery Channel, Food Network, the list goes on and on, the Military Channel, right through to doing Jeep commercials, Motorola commercials, NBC Sports, covering all kinds of things, Winter Olympics spotlights, the NFL Network, Nike commercials, National Geographic work, NASA television even. He's even worked for New Balance running shoes, Olympic women's boxing. He's covered that. Just incredible stuff. A huge list of accomplishments here, and we're very lucky to have him here with us tonight. And then, of course, no end and no shortage of television work, too. All kinds of stuff for ABC, A&E, CBS, BET, the Food Network, Comedy Central, DIY Network. I could go on and on and on. This man is he's quite the mover and shaker, and he's known for getting it done. And certainly when we invited him to come on this show to help us get it done, he responded and was right there, just bam, anything to help. So we want to firstly, on behalf of HTLA Radio 1 New York, of course, thank Brook Aitken very much for his participation in the show tonight and for his insights into the F55. Now, of course, the F55, getting back to some of you guys out there who are maybe more DIY filmmakers or just getting started, etc., a couple of things I should note. Even someone with a resume such as Brook Aitken, he admits that he uses his Canon, 5D all the time. So don't think, just because you're shooting on a DSLR that, there's nowhere to go but up. And certainly if you're already doing that, you're doing some good stuff. You're telling stories, and that's what it's all about. Now, the F55 CineAlta 4K, yes, the future ahead of schedule as it's branded on their website at Sony.com. It shoots spectacular, I must say, HD, 2K, and 4K. 4K onboard recording now in 3 other formats. 4K, 2K RAW options, electronic frame image scanning, vast exposure latitudes, and this is something that Brook will talk to us about soon here in a few minutes. The exposure latitude, S-Gamut's color system, retaining the maximum grayscale, the center scan mode, cache recording, viewfinders really as revolutionary as the camera is. It's modular, it's versatile, it's shoulder mount ENG documentary dock, high speed 240 FPS. It's more than just a pretty interface, too. It's a really nice menu system. Real-time 4K output and other vital connections, long-life Olvine batteries, and we're going to talk about those, too, because I wanted to get his opinion on the Olvine batteries, and you'll hear that in just a few minutes here. It's part of Sony's 4K universe, and, 4K 4K live production via fiber adapters, Sony camera accessories, of course, connectivity, flexibility, and longer cables. Also, it should be noted, too, that we're going to be talking about in the interview tonight, we're going to be talking about some of those accessories. And, you know, this is from the man working in the biz every day in and day out with his camera. And we're going to go over some of the options that he chose, and certainly how he's doing with all of his support equipment as well, to give you kind of an insight as to some longevity and just, some good quality stuff out there. Now, for the layman, what's the difference between the F5 and the F55? They look the damn same. Well, the F5 has got a black ring around the lens mount on the front of the camera, and the F55, of course, has its signature silver ring. And the F5 and the F55 are thin, not much wider than a prime lens. The cameras are modular and highly configurable. They look similar on the outside with one distinctive difference. That FZ mount on the F55 is silver, and the F5, of course, is black. PL lenses attach with a PL to FZ mount adapter, but we'll get into more on the mounts later. The big differences are inside. Yes, the F55 is more expensive. It's feature-rich than its feature-rich sibling. Since there's a hurricane outside, please bear with us, and some of the specs to follow are a little off. The comparison of the features makes the head spin, but in the spirit of the two-sentence pitch, here's the difference. Get the F55 if you want to record 4K, 2K, or HD internally to S/S cards. Shoot up to 240 frames per second, have a global shutter, and want an F65 type of sensor design. That's the way to go. Get the F5 if you want to save money. Record 2K and HD internally to S/S cards, but not 4K internally. Shoot to 180 frames per second, skip the global shutter, and want an F3 type sensor design. Although it should be noted, too, that, we did a show, about 6-8 months ago on the F4 F5, and, or not the F4, 4K 450 F5. Yeah, that's what I'm awake tonight. That's what it is. Of course, the F5 hack that everybody was talking about, which was, of course, not a hack. There was nothing actually altered in the camera. There was nothing actually altered to anything except a simple text file in your save files there in your SD card. That's all it was. That's all that is. You can have 4K, but hey, that's another show. We'll not go there. But definitely, this camera has turned heads when it came out. It's proven itself to be a top quality, top-notch workhorse. Sony has been, and we're going to talk about this in the interview as well, Sony has been huge in keeping up with all of the community who owns these cameras and works with them every day in terms of things that need to be upgraded, things that need to be fixed, things that needed to be changed, added, omitted. Sony has really stepped up with the community of people out there using these cameras every day, and really given them, really maintained a lot of currency with a lot of their firmware upgrades, given the client exactly what they're asking for. So definitely a hats off to Sony for that. That was pretty huge. You don't get that with a lot of other camera manufacturers, not mentioning any names, of course. Excuse me. Yeah. Well, both the F5 and the F55 do record 4K and 2K RAW into a modular onboard AXS-R5 recorder that uses the new AXS memory cards. Now, this AXS-5 recorder we're going to be talking about tonight as well. It's a stellar piece of equipment, and while Brook doesn't own one, he does rent one quite often when he's working on 4K projects, and he swears by it. He thinks it's the perfect addition to the overall system. Now, both cameras have a super 35mm 4096 by 2160 single CMOS sensor, 11.6 million total photo sites, 8.9 million effective pixels. I think it's Super 35 3-perf format size, 24 by 12.7 millimeters. It's 27.1 millimeter diagonal. Now, the F55 imager has a bare pattern similar to the F65 and a global shutter. The F5 has a bare pattern similar to the F3, and it does not have the global shutter. And trust me, if you can afford it, you want that global shutter. Now, the cameras weigh about 4 pounds, 14 ounces. That's just the body, of course, and measure 7-8 inches by 8 by 12 and a quarter. They consume VDC 11 volts to 17 volts at about 25 watts. The F55 is rated at ISO 1250, and the F5 is rated at 2000 ISO. Certainly, you can adjust ISO up or down from there. Exposure latitude is 14 stops, after all. There are 3 behind-the-lens optical filters built into the camera: a clear ND 0.9, 3 stops, and a 1.8, 6 stops. Electronic shutter angle is variable from 4.2 to 360 degrees. Shutter speeds adjust from 1/24th to 1/6000th of a second. White balance choices are 3200, 4300, 5500K. Memorized and ATW audio. There are 6 standard gamma curves and S-Log2 gamma. Yes. Sony F3 was unveiled at NAB in 2010 by Alex Shapiro and then quickly put under glass. The camera remained under glass at IBC. There was a lot of speculation about the signs that said affordable 35mm camera, and it's a 35mm world. And the Sony engineers just kept putting out the goodies. There's just no end of the goodies. You know, even at this year's NAB, just passed here. Goodies galore. It's just nuts. Yes. Now, a little bit more about that AXR5 4K 2K RAW recorder. Yeah. Shoot and record, master, and distribute in 4K. Why 4K? Well, there's more than 13,000 theaters right now with Sony Digital Cinema 4K projectors, and a lot more screens with 4K projectors from other major brands. Sony's new 84-inch 4K TV is on display, of course, at Sony stores everywhere, as well as the new LG 84 4K TV went on sale a couple of days ago. JVC showed their 4K 4 TV, and a whole bunch of others did too. The bottom line is it's really going to 4K, and that's okay. Now, this recorder shoots, records, and masters in 4K and does full good job of distribution in HD or 2K, of course. You can, it's just awesome. Awesome. Now, you're going to ask, well, what about that price point? $5,500? Well, if you've got the F55, you know the value and you know what you're dealing with in as far as the camera goes. The recorder, I think, my personal taste is a must. When I went and got mine, I got that. I got the 4K recorder. I got the Olvine batteries. I went and got CineAlta glass, the full, the 6-lens kit. So I went for the full meal deal. But a lot of guys out there didn't, and they don't, because, that $5,000 expenditure can be a little hard to deal with, absolutely. But it's a simple matter of a rental. It's not that difficult. And if you've never used one before, it's really not that difficult to use them either. Now, a little bit about the card readers, the AXS CR1 card reader specific. It is a RAW viewer, simultaneous RAW and onboard S/S recording, of course. The future upgrade has come, actually, 4K 2K RAW and XAVC 2K HD. Also MPEG 2 in HD 422. And the 4K QFHD and XAVC, of course, on the F55, but not the F5. Now, the F55 sensor is an electronic global shutter. Rolling shutter gives you those jello effects, that distortion that causes vertical lines to tilt and whatnot. You can especially notice this on pans. The F5 does not have the global shutter, however, the F55 does. Sony also came out with their own OLED viewfinder, the DVF EL100. The F55 has a choice of 3 viewfinders, the LED, or OLED, the LCD, and basically just an LCD monitor. Now, I said this before when talking about the F55 and some of Sony's products, and I'm going to say it again. Their little LCD monitor, the 7-inch diagonal 1920 by 1080 LCD onboard monitor, works with the camera's 2K and 4K output modes, provides pixel for pixel 1920 by 1080 viewing in HD. That's all great. It really is. Do I have a problem paying $5,000 for the AXS5 recorder? No, I don't. Do I have a problem paying almost $5,000 for the stupid little monitor? Yes, I do. Yeah. So I went with just the LCD, which is the DVF L350, as opposed to the OLED DVF L100. I'm still not sold on the OLED stuff, especially for a workhorse, a day in, day out kind of camera, you know, the burnout thing and all that stuff. But yeah, that was just me. So it also comes with a kind of a little shoulder pad dealio with rosettes on it and a couple of rods out the front. It's basically their quick and dirty little shoulder support for it. Of course, there is a number of companies that have come out even just as the camera was releasing with all kinds of top handles, bases, all kinds of different mounting and whatnot for your matte box and your follow focus and what have you, and of course full cages. The list goes on and on. This camera was really well supported with accessories right out of the gate, and also because the F55 is of course so modular, they're small, they're light. You slap on stuff, you take stuff off you don't need, boom, 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 and away you go. That's one of the big things about this camera system that got me. Was its configurability and its reconfigurability. Just about the same time, if memory serves, around 2011, 2012, that's when Canon came out with, of course, their cinema line, the Canon EOS cinema cameras, the C100, 300, and 500. And, of course, their 4K shooting DSLR, the, what is it, the 1DX? Yeah. And don't get me wrong, amazing cameras in their own right, absolutely. But I don't know, the form factor, the design of them, something seemed off. When I had them in my hands, I was like not really sold on this supposed ergonomic stuff. And I just always thought that Sony had a much better form factor for that, and certainly. But don't get me wrong, hey, Canon's no slouch. Shane Hurlbutt there will tell you. Canon's the cat's ass. That's what he does all his stuff on, and he certainly does some good stuff. So, what the hell do I know? Anyway, I've got to go for my first 2-minute commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to get right to the interview with Brook and talk a heck of a lot more about the F55. We'll be back in 2.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Old Spice Body Spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power!
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
glasses, White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum, 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slick back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out, we never style, we never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Welcome back to the big show. Tonight's Film 101. Yes, on HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. I am the host of Film 101, Chris Crash Jesus Taylor, in HTLA Studio 2 with you tonight in downtown Manhattan, and we're kicking it old school with the F55. And tonight's show, Aitken for the F55. That's right, cinematographer extraordinaire Brook Aitken is, of course, with us tonight. And we're about to go live with him now to get into the F55 and Brooke and all that good stuff. So here we go. Okay. So first of all, thank you for taking the time out to come and be here and give us the lowdown on the F55.
You bet. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. So first off, what I thought we could do is if you could just kind of, I don't know, give us the lowdown. When did you get started on your DOP career? When did that all happen?
I've been shooting off and on, I guess, for about 17 years. My dad was a filmmaker and a DP. And so I kind of grew up just following him around. And then as I got out of college, eventually I decided maybe I should go to film school, since I wasn't good at anything else except for sports.
Right.
So then of course, I took jobs being an AC, a grip, doing anything on all sorts of sets. But I had always been shooting along the way.
Okay.
So which was good and bad.
Now, did you start back in the film days, or is all your experience digital? Oh, okay. So what was the first camera you shot on?
My dad always had several Aries around. So he had an Arri S.
Yeah.
And he had an Eclair NPR, so 16 millimeter.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course we had several Super 8 cameras, like an old Bell and Howell, and then a Bolex, which I still have the Bolex. It's floating around on one of my shelves.
Nice.
Rex 5.
So how do you feel about that medium shift? Do you miss film? Do you love digital and don't care? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, of course, I miss the look like a lot of people do, but I think digital now, it's getting so. I mean, the dynamic range is so amazing. I think now we've eclipsed that of which film can reproduce.
Yeah.
But I also am I am extremely happy that I'm not shooting film now anymore, because it was stressful. Stressful as an AC, as a loader. I mean, just what if there was a light leak? What if? To me, it was very stressful. So I'm excited to be able to just push the little button sometimes.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. Absolutely. So now give me some of your info about you currently right now. Now you've got your website, of course, is brookaitken.com. And you've got all your work there, and it's a great looking site. So surely any listener wants to contact you, they can do so certainly through the site. There's no shortage of contacts for you there. Now you getting into the digital markets. Now you own an F55, correct?
Yeah, I've had it now for just over 2 years since they first came out.
Yeah, nice. Couple of questions with that. What were you using for digital before the F55?
Before the F55, I had a Sony F3.
Right.
I've also had a Sony EX3. Heck, I had a Betacam before that.
Wow.
I actually had the first Sony, gosh, what was it? The first digital camera they came out with. The little Sony DX. I think it was just a DX. Little gray guy. That was their very first little Sony professional handycam. So a handful of cameras.
Yeah. So you've got kind of a good broad spectrum there before you entered into that F55 world. And I guess my next question for you would be, what made you make that choice?
Well, I think it was time to step it up, and just the ability to be able to shoot that camera in so many different modes. I was on the verge of should I get a Red Epic or Sony F55? I mean, the price was, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But the versatility of this camera over the Red is that it transcodes much faster. I can offload footage to S/S cards even quicker. It can shoot in so many different modes. I can shoot in PAL. I can shoot in NTSC. I can shoot all the way down to 720 and all the way up to 4K. I can shoot it in RAW. I can shoot in S-Log, XAVC, MPEG. I mean, there's just no end to it. And my clients range, anywhere from TV shows up to high-end commercials. So there's a lot of people on the post end that aren't ready for more than 1080.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And they're not going to wait to transcode red footage or whatnot on set.
Yeah.
So to be able to offload footage, quickly from my 55 via S/S cards it's amazing.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've actually done extensive research on a lot of the digital lines out. Was really impressed when Canon Cinema did their EOS stuff. And again, that's a camera system that's got some great versatility too. But I don't think even today, I didn't see anything smokingly awesome out of NAB this year. So, I'm thinking for, all of the qualities you just mentioned about this camera, as far as its versatility and deliverables, as far as its versatility in everything. I mean, it's you run around ENG even. It's just, it's pretty much the cat's meow, I think. But another question that I would have for you about the F55 is when you acquired it, kind of a couple of interesting questions. One, did you go with the Sony Olvine batteries, or did you go with other brands?
Actually, I did. Yeah. So I got 4 of the Sony Olvine batteries. I think one of the draws for that was just how fast they charge. I mean, it's like 30 minutes to a full charge for each one of those.
Yeah.
They are a little bit more expensive, but it also shows the exact minutes and how much time is left per battery, which is something that if I do swap out and use a buddy of mine's other V mounts, it just shows the amps, the milliamps, and I don't know how much time is left. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I swear by those things too. And I guess the other question I had too for you was when you got your 55. I guess question of the year: did you have existing glass that you went and used adapters for, or did you go and pop for the Sony 6-lens Cine kit?
I already had existing glass. Of course, I forgot to mention I have a Canon 5D, as probably everybody does, as a backup fail-safe camera, along with a GoPro. Who doesn't have those? But I had already had a handful of, I probably have 6 or 8 different Canon and Signal lenses.
Right.
So I basically got an Optitech adapter to be able to work those lenses on the camera. And then for larger commercials, bigger budgets, I will just rent PL glass.
Right. And what are your thoughts on that? Going from that DSLR glass to the Cine glass. Any thoughts?
I'm still fairly surprised at how well it holds up. I've even shot 4K RAW with it, and those lenses are meant to resolve at 20, 30, whatnot megapixels on a still camera. So there's no reason why they won't resolve in 4K on a motion picture camera. Of course, the usability functions, you're not going to have as good of focal marks. They're not parafocal lenses. They're not going to hold focus when you zoom in and come back.
Right.
So you give up some user functionality, but the image quality, boy, it's pretty good.
So for you discriminating users out there, definitely for your B-roll.
Oh, absolutely, and it's just a matter of budget. I mean, I'll put on a Ingenue 24 to 290 or something if we've got the money, or a Cook. I mean, obviously those don't look the same as a Canon L series lens, but we've shot so much with these other lenses that it's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Well, you've certainly got no shortage of stuff you've shot. Everything from Cabela's television commercials, BMW. The list goes on and on there, right up to motion pictures, features, featured docs. How was the actual camera to work with day to day on the set in terms of moving it around, support equipment, that kind of thing that you found was really beneficial?
For me, I mean, it's really easy. Of course, now I'm all set up with everything from handles to matte box, follow focus. So I can skinny it up as much as I need to, and if I have to go handheld for 10, 12 hours, I can do it. But the form function is really simple. It's very easy to hold, and it's not so heavy. It's not like an Alexa where you're having to strap on 2 giant V-mount brick batteries. I mean, it's so much lighter.
Yeah.
I don't even think twice about it. I'm just set up, ready to go, and I feel like I can put the camera wherever I need to.
Next question. Now, it's about the R5 recorder. Do you use it? And if so, what do you think of it overall?
I do use it. I don't own it. For me, it's a rental item.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but the amount of data that thing spits out, it's scary. I think the file sizes are like 440 megs a second or something amazing. It's huge. But boy, if you really want the information, if your clients can handle the bandwidth, why not? I mean, if you're doing motion graphic like green screen, or I just shot a soccer for, actually it was for Miracle Grow with USA Soccer, Abby Wambach. And I mean, the detail and the grass and everything is just, it's unbelievable what you can manipulate in post. Just to be able to have that much information resolution is I'd take it in a minute if somebody wanted to give me a good deal on one.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to another question too. What is your experience in editing? Do you got a lot of it for the F55?
I dabble. I mean, I have a Final Cut 10 system. I used to have Final Cut 7. I am certainly not an editor. I do edit maybe 2 or 3 things a year. My rule of thumb is, if I get dragged into a project, I'll help out. I'll transcode. Maybe I'll do a little color correcting.
Yeah.
But I try to never get involved in a project where the edit is longer than 3 minutes. And I know that sounds small, but if it's more than 3 minutes, then I'm going to hire one of my buddies as a professional editor to really dig into it, because it just takes away time for me. I usually never have that much downtime to sit around in the studio and edit.
Yeah, well, I'm exactly the same way. If it's something short, sure, no problem. But I've been stuck to those deadlines before, and all the stress and all the it's just too much.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no, that's what the editor's for. You go see him.
Yeah. But I think it's nice to be able to have a good working knowledge of Premiere, Final Cut, Avid. And so that you can say, well, yeah, but why didn't you slip frame this, or why didn't you use this to color correct, or there's workarounds, and so you at least have a good knowledge of the software that people are using now. And actually, I just had an issue with an editor from the NFL last night. I was having problems reading my files. Well, his Avid hadn't been updated in like a year.
Oh, right.
And so he doesn't have all the correct codecs, et cetera, and they thought it was a corrupt card on my end, and I said, no, I have the footage right here. I'm looking at it through my system. Everything's fine. So what version of Avid are you on? And he let me know, and I said, well, you're obviously very far out of date, so you need to get your codec squared away first.
Well, how did the poor guy take that, huh?
There was a lot of dodge and burn answers, like so.
Right. Yeah. Well, now with your smaller projects that you have actually color corrected and edited yourself, how do you feel about that dynamic range?
I feel that I wish I was a better color corrector so that I could actually take advantage of all the dynamic range. I mean, the systems that I'm using is probably I can manipulate 10 stops of dynamic range, but the other 4 I'm not good enough to be able to really isolate shapes and get into the highlights and be able to pull back something that's at that looks like it's clipped at 109+% and be able to actually pull it back to less than 100%.
Yeah.
But I know it's there. The information is there. I'm just not quite good enough of a colorist to manipulate it fully.
Yeah. Well.
But it's impressive though what you can do in the camera.
Yeah.
And I've seen some shots that I've blown completely, or made the sacrifice to try and hold the correct stop, let's say for the talent or the action, and then to say, well, we're going to have to let this part of the sky go. But I know that in the top third, there's so much more dynamic range that I can pull that all back and post. And the colorist, sure enough did it. And I was, of course, shocked, but I was confident that it was there.
Well, moving on a little bit now, getting, I think it's safe to say that you're pretty much in love with this camera.
Yeah, I'm super, super thoroughly impressed, and I'm definitely excited that they keep coming out with updates. It's like Christmas every 4 months. Like, okay, we're going to add this little feature, or we're going to work on this, the MLET for the camera, all sorts of little things. They didn't just put the camera out and say, here it is.
Yeah.
They're constantly working on it and updating it, and there's a lot of user activity and a lot of feedback that they're getting, and they're listening. And they're actually implementing these ideas. So it's really cool to see that community.
Yeah, isn't that novel, eh? Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the other things that is I've noticed about particularly the F55 is those constant firmware updates, constant changes, listening to the community that's using them every day and actually addressing the issues that come up in certain situations. And that's pretty good on Sony's part.
Yeah, it can get confusing if you don't really stay on top of it. That's for sure. I've got a lot of other users here in the Front Range in Denver area that maybe they're not owners or rental houses, and they'll call me and ask me questions about, hey, how do you do this, or can the camera do this? And because the menus are pretty detailed and it can be pretty elaborate.
Yeah, and how are you with folks contacting you about questions they may have?
I don't mind at all. I love it, and it happens, between myself and other camera guys. Sometimes it's on a forum, or sometimes I'll just get a random email, and my phone's always with me. There's no excuse. There's no I'm out of the office this week anymore.
Right.
So I don't mind hitting people back with a quick answer. Yeah, if I can help somebody out, I mean, it's what comes around goes around.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be me next time asking somebody for help.
Yeah, well, especially in this business, that's the way all the successful folks do it. So,
yeah,
well, awesome. Now here's another question for you, and this is kind of a personal question to me because I've got a real hard on for this thing, and I think if anybody asked me to come and shoot with this thing, I would be there lickety split, and you couldn't keep me away. Your thoughts if somebody came to you with a project offering the use of an F55?
I would say, well, let's talk about the project. What I'd want to know the scope of it, how, and the support, like the budget. I mean, how many ACs do we have, etc. I would love to use it for sure. I've actually never shot with it. I've messed around with it in a studio before, twice.
Oh yeah,
but I've never taken it out in the field and shot with it. So I would be excited to play with it. But it's not like I wouldn't want to trade mine in for it because just the size of it and it's going to take a little more help to work on that camera.
Yeah, absolutely. But you'd still jump at the chance, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. You bet. In fact, I was tweeting with a DP the other week who's got, I guess they're shooting with it on a feature film somewhere in Colorado that I had never knew about, unless it's the Hateful Eight, but I thought that was all on film. And I just tweeted them back and said, well, if you need a B camera for F55, let me know. I'm around.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the F65, when I first saw the footage from Oblivion, the Tom Cruise movie there, and first saw that footage, that was just like, that just blew me away because I'd never actually seen anything that looked like that before. And indeed, yeah, okay, a lot of things are done in post and correction and whatnot, but that camera, pretty much in every piece of footage I have seen across the board from the 65, it's just stellar any way you cut it. And certainly, like you say, if you've got the support team and you've got the budget for it, that's the way to go. But absolutely, for the all-around workhorse that pretty much can do everything, I think we're both in agreement. The F55 is where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to be able to shoot 8K and put the F65 in a backpack and carry it on and travel around the world. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. And that's what I wind up doing a lot of is putting that camera in weird places, be it a jungle or a mountaintop in Patagonia or something.
Right.
So unfortunately, the 65 will be out of my range.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's be fair. It's out of most people's, but just like to dream.
Yes.
So what's next for you? What are you working on? What are you going to be working on? What's going on?
Yeah, we're doing actually a series of spots for Miracle Grow and Home Depot with lawn care. I've got that going on. We're supposed to actually be doing a documentary about guns. So hopefully that will take off here. Go to New Zealand in the end of June.
Oh yeah.
It's new stuff all the time. There's supposed to be ESPN 30 for 30. You're going to be doing a boxing piece, hopefully. A lot of coals or a lot of pokers in the fire, but you never know which one's actually going to heat up. So there's a lot of talk, and then certain things happen, and then certain things kind of fizzle out.
Right.
But it's always a big variety of stuff, and that's what I love about my job. I'm not sitting in a studio every day. I'm out traveling the world shooting something different almost all the time.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that actually draws me to my next kind of series of questions. We had John, one of the owners of Hive Lighting, on the show recently on FiLM101.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely fantastic show, fantastic products, just absolutely, awesome technology. The amount of light they're able to get for the voltage they're sucking is just incredible. The whole ecosystem, I guess you could say, and the benefit to it of their lighting. Have you had any chance on sets to use it? I thought I saw some shots where there were some hives there.
I have not actually used hives on set. I did meet with them at NAB real quick, and I checked them out as I was helping out the guys at Chimera Lighting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of their visionaries for those guys. So they were actually, their booth was right next door to Chimera. But yeah, those are pretty impressive lights. But I haven't had a chance to actually use those on set.
Okay, well, that'll be
I do own some Nyla lights. I don't know if you've seen those, but those I have a set of those, and they're pretty amazing. The Boxer and the Versa, flicker free throughout the range. They draw nothing compared to what they put out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heat wise, all that kind of good stuff is nice and cool. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the Nylas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're the Boxer draws about 200 watts and then puts out about 800. So I've run it off a car battery before. We ran it in a field in Louisiana and put it right up next to a gun, and we're shooting with the Phantom. Just to be able, it was a cloudy day, so we needed a little bit more light.
Right.
And I mean, it worked like a charm. It was amazing.
Awesome.
So love those lights. And then I also own a couple of Shamir light banks, so I can put it on that, and it creates a beautiful big source, and you can dim it down as far as you want.
Absolutely.
No color shifting. It's amazing.
Yeah, love those. So kind of give me your kind of overall opinion of, you used to work in film like me, now you're working in digital like me. What are your thoughts about all the new lighting, the new LED stuff, the new, the new flat boards, all that stuff?
All the light panels, etc. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of them. If I can take 2 or 3 light panels and put them in my big old Pelican cases and travel those, it's just so much easier than having to lump around an old Airy kit or a set of Kino flows, and the amount of horsepower you can get out of those things. If you know how to soften them up too, and really work them. It's amazing what you can carry around now, and the horsepower you can get out of something. It's awesome. I love it.
For sure, yeah.
Not to say that the big tungsten, 2K, 5K lights are going to go away, but the technology, I mean, it's amazing how long these LEDs are going to last, and how much horsepower you get out of them. It's really cool.
Sure, yeah. I guess just some final thoughts, I guess, on support gear. Of course, there's lots of companies out there, Wooden Cameras, Akuto, iCan, everybody you can think of out there putting out the support gear. But I want to ask you, because you're into this every day. You do this for a living. So whereabouts are you with support gear for these cameras and rigging? Who's your kind of top 2 go-tos?
Well, I used to be kind of sponsored by Red Rock Micro. So those guys actually hooked me up with quite a bit of follow focus and matte box, etc. And then for a lot of the other stuff like my cage, my handle, the dovetail, the quick release, all that is all Airy. So I have that whole setup for the camera, which I love. And I researched it, and I know several other people that have other brands, and the Airy made that one specifically for the F55, and it works perfect, and I have 0 complaints. Love it.
Yeah, I love the Airy stuff too for the F55. They did a really nice job of finishing and everything, and it's good durable stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Have you? Here's another question, just kind of an out there one, but it's fairly new to the markets there from last year. It was the Bright Tangerine line of matte boxes and bits and pieces. You check that stuff out?
I feel like you were following me around NAB or something. Yeah, I looked at their gear exclusively. I think it's the V5 or the Vimo 5 matte box, that carbon fiber one that they have.
Yeah.
It's 2 to 3 stages. You can pull them out magnetically if you want to lose a stage. I love it. They're not cheap, but it's supposed to be amazing stuff. Built in Germany.
Yeah.
It looks great, and it's a priority on my list of things to buy. It's on the shopping list.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, good. I wanted to get your input on that stuff because I've looked at it too, and it's top notch. And yeah, the price point is a little higher than a good percentage of other equivalent stuff out there, but just that workmanship and the finish on it is really superior, I think.
It is, definitely. And, it's just like everything in our business is expensive, but you get what you pay for. You really do. I mean, there's a lot of knockoffs coming out of China, et cetera, and they're cute and they look, they've got flashy colors and they look great, but they won't hold up. I know this for a fact. I've seen several of my buddies that are using their stuff, and those products, they just don't last.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when you think about it, you've already spent enough for the camera. Why would you trust it to anything less than, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you don't want to show up on the set with, some junky gear that you got in China for 12 cents. There's another DP I know, and he gets his batteries from some crazy place you've never heard of, and he makes his own lights from Home Depot. And I'm just like, you can't show up on the set, a professional job with that kind of gear, and who knows if it's going to work that day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, listen, any final thoughts from you on the F55 and your business overall?
Boy, I'm excited for the newest update to come out in June. I just want to see this camera keep going, keep expanding. I do love to see that many more rental houses are starting to adopt the camera and have started to figure it out. And more producers are saying, oh, yeah, I just had a shoot this week saying, oh, we want to shoot on the Amira, blah, blah. And I said, well, I've got an F55. And I said, oh, you do? Oh, my God, that's even better. Thank God. Great. People are starting to really recognize the model, the camera, and understand that the Sony brand is solid. It's been around for a long time, and that the camera it's a chameleon, as they say. It can do so many different things. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what else?
Well, not a whole heck of a lot, actually. That's pretty much it. I think I've got enough here for pretty much a whole show. We've covered your intro and bio. I'm going to, of course, be putting out all the details for your website and your contact info and whatnot. And I
didn't know if you need any other bio stuff like other documentaries, The Cove that I worked on.
Anything that you want to mention and throw it in, no problem. I'll cut it in and it'll be all the more. Absolutely.
Yeah, that movie The Cove was before obviously F55s. So in terms of camera technology, we did a whole 6-piece in American Cinematographer, a 6-page piece about the cameras, but it was definitely a long time before F55. So I don't know if that. Anyways, you can put a little star next to that or something if people want to see that in the bio. They always get excited.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, it's American Cinematographer, man, of course.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And the film won an Academy Award, so that was,
Well, listen, Brooke, thank you so much for taking the time out with us today, and we're going to be promoing the heck out of your work. You do great work, and hey, if anybody out there wants to contact and talk to a man that actually talked to Samuel L. Jackson, here's your guy. There you go. How was that actually when you hung out with him there?
Yeah, it was great. It was a fun shoot. I think we were kind of warned ahead of time, just be real gentle. You never know how it is working with him. One of the previous guys worked with him said he could be, a little strict and temperamental, but he came in there cracking jokes, and it was as soon as the camera stopped rolling, it was bantering jokes and nonstop back and forth. So it turned out it was actually one of the funniest days I've had in a long time. He was a great guy to work with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's always good to hear too. What was the project you were doing with him?
It was for Fox Sports for NFL. So it was a NFL promo for the last playoff game. I think it was Green Bay, Ravens or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So he was shooting the Hateful Eight up there in Telluride, and so Fox said, "We need to get you up to Telluride and shoot this thing because he's on set for a while." So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So lots of fun, and you're there doing it day in and day out. Check them out, folks. BrookAitken.com. That's BrookAitken.com. So now I'm going to go over to Susie for the weather.
Perfect.
Well, thanks, Brooke. Appreciate it,
Chris.
and we'll look forward to talking to you again, man.
Okay, appreciate it very much. All right, bye-bye.
So there he was, the man himself, Brook Aitken. And again, do yourself a favor. If you're into filmmaking at all, go on over to his website, BrookAitken.com. We'll make sure that the link is, of course, in the show information for you, so you can just scroll down there and click if you're listening on iHeart or iTunes or Stitcher, Spreaker, or any of the 7 million other platforms we distribute our shows on here from HTLA at Radio 1 New York. Going to go for another 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up on the F55 and Brook Aitken.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1 New York.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the
Egyptian cotton towels.
shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Batten down your glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the bounce dryer bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power! Power!
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Yes, welcome back to HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk, and tonight's edition of FiLM101, our special edition with Brook Aitken, cinematographer extraordinaire from Colorado. And our special episode tonight is Aitken for the F55, because damn, it's just all that in a bag of chips, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Now, I hope you got from that interview kind of what I got from that interview, which was not only is the camera an excellent choice, but really if you consider all of the major factors that go into pretty much any project, this camera covers them all, and it covers them all well. Now, there's a lot of problems and things with Blackmagic's offerings. There's, of course, a plethora of other problems with the Scion and some of its offerings. There's the list can go on and on. The red system, if you get into that, you're kind of bracketing yourself. But but this camera here, the Sony F55, this camera here really, in my personal opinion, covers the gambit of any kind of video or film production work you're going to do. You want to do a feature, take your F55. You want to do a television commercial, take your F55. You want to do a documentary, take your F55. What's that? Music videos? Hey, take the F55. I really can't think of anywhere or anything short of, duct taping it to your helmet and trying to use it like a GoPro on your, mountain bike. That probably wouldn't work out too well, but pretty much everything else. And really, if you've got a GoPro strapped to your head, you're probably not going to do the kind of stuff that we're talking about doing with an F55. So, absolutely go pro. But no, so definitely a great interview with Brook. Thank you so much, Brook, for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts on the F55 and indeed the rest of your career and how you got started, how you got going, and some of the great stuff that we're looking forward to from you in the future. Absolutely. Also want to mention that once again, if you'd like to take a look at some of his work and some of his still images, of course, it's all at the website, his resume, the camera gear that he uses, of course, some demo reels, and all the contact information you'd ever need for Brook Aitken is there as well. And I'll go over that right now. Brook Aitken, DOP, Boulder, Colorado, 80303. Phone number is 303-931-7039. You can find him on Twitter at Brook Aitken, and also the website, of course, at brookaitken.com, and Brook Aitken at comcast.net. Always is up for anything. If you want to inquire about camera packages and rates, they're constantly upgrading their gear, of course. And also keep in mind that he's basically extended that open invitation to you. If you've got some production questions, if you've got some questions on lights, if you got some questions on gear, or indeed the Sony line of cameras, the F55, which he has tons of experience with, he says feel free to contact him. So make sure you do. He's a great guy, loves what he does, and I can think of few others actually that I would call up with my production questions. So there it is for you right there. Now we're out of time tonight. We have kind of shot our hour all to heck with little pieces all over it. So we're going to have to get out of here. Yeah, there we go. There's the out music there. Just a reminder once again, go on over to HTLAradio1.com. That's the number one, just like us, not ONE. Otherwise, we'd be HTLA Radio 1, Scotland's finest talk. And of course, we're not. So use the number one and go on over to the site. Take a look at all the great stuff we've got there for you. A whole bunch of shows you might just be interested in and enjoy. Who knows? I'd like to thank Jenny McCartney in the booth tonight with me, pushing those buttons at Studio 2, making the show go here. Appreciate it, hon, staying late. And to all of you out there in film and television land, keep those cameras rolling. And remember, life is a poor substitute for video games. There you go. Have a good week, and we'll see you next.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.